All right, you've probably heard it. Meat is unnecessary. How old is the argument that meat is unnecessary and is wasteful? Well, the Roman Stoic philosophers were discussing this idea well over 2,000 years ago. So we'll find out about a certain figure today. Hello and welcome back to Threpticon. Today we're going to talk about Quintus Sextius, a Roman Pythagorean. Who was Sextius? He lived around the time of Cicero, more or less, and was active in the 50s BC. And he was a philosopher inspired by Pythagoreanism and influential for the Stoics. He founded a philosophical school teaching his principles. In fact, it was named after himself. They were called the Sextii, so like the followers of Sextius. So we know a lot about this guy, basically from what Seneca says about it. And Seneca was the main Stoic philosopher, right? So Seneca is constantly writing these letters to his friend Lucilius, and in a few of them he mentions Sextius. Sotion used to tell me why Pythagoras abstained from animal food, and why in later times Sextius did also. In each case, the reason was different, but it was in each case a noble reason. Sextius believed that man had enough sustenance without resorting to blood, and that a habit of cruelty is formed when butchery is practiced for pleasure. Moreover, he thought we should curtail the source of our luxury. He argued that a varied diet was contrary to the laws of health and was unsuited to our constitutions. Pythagoras, on the other hand, held that all beings were interrelated, and that there was a system of exchange between souls which migrated from one bodily shape into another. So we have two different ideas. Pythagoras has the transmigration of souls, metempsychosis. When I won't eat a chicken because that chicken could be the soul of my dead, aunt, for example. That everything's interconnected that way. Their souls are interconnected. Sextius had other arguments. He said, meat is unnecessary. You don't need to eat it. Why would you? That it makes you cruel to sort of pay someone else to kill for you. This is not good. I mean, the pleasure you derive from someone else's death, that's quite bad. And he also thought that it's good to get rid of this luxury, right? That eating like a varied diet, understanding here an omnivorous diet, was contrary to health, unsuited to our constitutions. But that's just his opinion. All right, moving on. So here's some more descriptions. This comes from the Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy. Has a lot of information about philosophy. So Quintus Sextius, however, found a philosophical movement in the time of Augustus, which prescribed a vegan diet and taught the doctrine of transmigration of souls, although Sextius presented himself as using different arguments than Pythagoras for vegetarianism, citing the letter we just read. One of these Sextians, as they were known, was Sotion, the teacher of Seneca, and it is Seneca who gives us most of the information we have about them. It is also noteworthy that Sextius is also reported to have asked himself at the end of each day, "What bad habit have you cured today? What vice have you resisted? In what way are you better?" Cicero tells us that it was the Pythagorean custom to call to mind in the evening everything said, heard, or done during the day. The practice described by Cicero is directed as training the memory, in contrast to Sextius' questions, which call for moral self-examination. So I added that just as an interesting idea, reflecting on what we've done today, reflecting on the moral quality of every action you've done, trying to remember everything. Um, just part of it. I mean, what you ate, how you treated other people, whether you cheated, things like that. Those count, right? Those count. So there's a series of just epigrams, short sayings. It's actually a list of things. These sentences of Sextus, sometimes called the sentences of Sextus Pythagoricus, possibly authored by the gentleman we're talking about, Quintus Sextius. But number 25 of these sentences is this: the use of all the use of all animals as food is indifferent, but it is more rational to abstain from them, which is an interesting point of view, saying it's the rational case. It's more rational to abstain from them. So I thought people might enjoy that quotation as well. Um, so what's interesting about Sextius? He combined sort of two different types of ethics, right? Pythagoreanism with Stoicism. He makes these arguments based on frugality. We do not need meat, So therefore, it is unnecessary, and therefore it is wasteful. It is wasteful. So cruelty is a bad habit. He talks about cruelty as a bad habit, like these vices, paying another person to kill your meat. This is a bad habit. That's a vice. You're getting pleasure from an animal's pain and death. Why would you want that in your life? Um, he doesn't emphasize. I won't say he doesn't believe. Maybe he doesn't emphasize minimum psychosis like the Pythagoreans did. That brings me to my question for today. Does abstinence from meat require self-discipline? Is it a practice of discipline, or is it something else? So let me know what you think in the comment section below. All right. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.